How did interpreting Bruce's songs influence your overall performance as him? I love the moment in the trailer where the dealership guy says, I do know who you are. And you reply, that makes one of us, showing Bruce is struggling with his own identity.
Yeah.
When you're playing a character, whether they're real or fictional, do you feel like you truly get to know the person you're portraying, like 100%?
Yeah, I think, there's several versions that you kind of get to explore with any character. The version of yourself that kind of is out in the world like we are right now and meeting people. You have this version of yourself that's, you are around like loved ones, family, which is probably closer to you. And then you have the version of yourself that you are while you're alone in a room, which I really get to explore, especially in this film. And that's usually the one that's closest to yourself, and I find it helpful to like explore these three versions in every sort of character. I take.
You are in an incredible moment right now with so many eyes on your work, but after nearly 20 years in this craft, what's the biggest thing that still excites you about acting? The thing that you always chase that gets you up in the morning, basically?
Yeah, I think it's that thing. I'm lucky if I have it a couple times on each set that I'm on, which is really that sense of feeling completely lost in your work for a period. I had it, in The Bear with that episode in the season 1 where we shot the whole thing in one take. It felt very alive, and the whole crew had to be a part of it. I felt it performing at the Stone Pony in this film because it felt so real. The environment was real. The background actors were so excited. I think it's just chasing a moment that feels incredibly real and you feel actually present in.
I believe many people decided they were going to buy a ticket for this movie the moment they heard you sing as Bruce Springsteen. Amazing.
Thank you.
Since so much of the character comes through in the raw emotion of every word he sings, the pauses, the phrasing, the intensity, how did interpreting Bruce's songs influence your overall performance as him?
I wish every character I played wrote a record about how they were feeling. That would be a much easier way for me to approach my work. I remember like one of the first times I felt particularly close to Bruce was as I was recording a lot of the album, able to have this shared experience with Bruce. They're not my words, but I'm performing them as if they are. And every time I sang it, I felt closer and closer to Bruce, and my understanding of this particular story that we were telling about Bruce Springsteen became kind of clearer and clearer. So it's nice to have such a clear blueprint,
Talking about blueprint, when you're playing someone fictional, you can invent. When you're playing someone real, you have a blueprint.
Yeah.
Which one actually feels more freeing for you as an actor?
Yeah. Even in this film, I have some moments where I'm on stage where I feel like I need to portray the Bruce Springsteen that we know as the performer, right? In that case, I have a template, right? I have his concert footage, a structure to fit into, but I find more like freedom when I'm making discoveries for myself. And I think in those periods, kind of when you're with Bruce, alone in a room, alone in this house in Coltsneck, I get to try and come up with, okay, how is this man sitting during this time? There's a little bit more freedom there. And then, of course, if you're playing a character where these moments haven't really happened, I think, yes, of course, that's where you have the most freedom, which is really fun, obviously, as well.
Acting is often about disappearing into someone else, but has playing Bruce, someone so iconic, actually helped you understand something about who you are? Do you ever find that a character ends up teaching you something about yourself that you didn't expect?
Not only in the process of sort of what happens in the film and how brave Bruce is in his work and how brave Bruce is to sort of like lean on the people that love him and to ultimately like accept some kind of help. He also has a great deal of bravery in like allowing Scott and I to steer kind of for the first time something that was going to impact his image and his career in such a way. I was very nervous to take on this role. Obviously, there was a lot of responsibility, and I think I found a lot of bravery to sort of show up for work through admiration for Bruce's bravery, looking at him as an older man now and seeing how he moves in this world.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, be good.
Take care.